Hey, if you don't know me, my name is Brent Galloway. I'm a freelance graphic designer who works in this little spare bedroom home office where I live in Ohio. I specialize in designing merchandise for the music industry, and this channel is dedicated to sharing my experience, all the ups, downs, in hopes that we can both learn from sharing my processes, my mistakes along the way. It's been a little over a year since my last video, so I figured a little reintroduction was necessary, and you might be wondering, why have I not made a video in over a year? It's a bit of a loaded question, but it's my usual excuse. It's because I've just been so focused on client work. I would actually love to share some of those recent client projects I've been working on, kind of a behind the design, sort of like the past video I did where I talked about how to grow your design confidence, sharing a real world client project. But for this video, I want to talk about how I'm going to grow my freelance business. This video is important for me to make for a few reasons. Back when I started freelancing in 2011, about 9 years ago, I would have killed to have seen how other graphic designers were structuring and growing their freelance business. Heck, I would still love to see that. Unfortunately, you just don't really see many designers doing that here on YouTube. And I think it's incredibly valuable to be an active designer who's currently in the trenches with their head down doing the work, sharing those experiences along the way, rather than being a retired veteran looking back on your past career. So that's one of the purposes for why I want to be making videos now rather than later. Aside from the benefit of just documenting this journey, making videos for me is going to be a massive creative challenge outside of client work. I am so tired of being overwhelmed with insecurity, imposter syndrome, and caring too much of what people might think of the things that I have to share. That's something that I personally struggle with a lot. To fight that, I'm going to try my best to consume less and create more. That sort of balance is super crucial. Sometimes when you are focused on what everyone else is doing, you start to compare yourself, and that's just such a toxic mindset to be in. So this video is one of many first steps that I'm taking to break those sort of bad habits. And I have my wife to thank for encouraging me to make videos again, and my best pal Jake, as well as Andy J. Miller, who in one of his recent episodes on his podcast, the Creative Pep Talk, episode 254.
Damn it, Brent Galloway. Don't ever say that to me again. I'm just kidding. That's me.
So yeah, that's episode 254. I'll leave a link to that podcast episode in the description if you want to go and listen to the whole thing. It's really great, and it got me fired up to make this video. All right, so diving into the nitty-gritty, what am I gonna do to actually grow my freelance business this year? The biggest change I recently made was refreshing my brand and redesigning my entire website. I gave it a serious and much needed facelift, a new logo. I hired a copywriter, Holly from Black and White Studios, to help me nail all of my messaging, and I rebuilt my entire website on Webflow. Then I worked with Connor Jones on this rad promo video to reveal all of my new branding. I wrote about the entire process of how I redesigned my entire freelance business over on my blog, so you can go check that out if you're interested. But now that I have this great website and killer brand that feels much more like me, it's time to put it to use. So now it's time to come up with a game plan. For the longest time, for seriously like 2 years, I've just been growing aimlessly. I've been so focused on doing client work, which has been killer, but it's made me basically put everything else on the back burner. In the back of my mind, I was like, crap, I should probably post on Instagram. I need to make a new video. I need to make more products for my creative market shop. I need to do this, I need to do that. And it's just much easier to just ignore all that and keep my head under my rock to do client work instead. That's what I've been up to these past couple of years, and I'm incredibly grateful and fortunate for the awesome client work that I get to do. But I feel like I'm not really growing much. It kind of feels like I'm on cruise control, but with no destination in sight. So in order to grow, I need to start working with more intention. I need to start having goals and getting these ideas out of my head and setting real deadlines for myself. So for example, like this month, one of my main goals for the month was to create this video. And so I can break that goal down into weekly goals, shoot the video. And then next week, the goal can be to edit the video. I really break up that big goal down into something that's way more attainable, something that I can actually do, and setting a deadline for myself. And that's the key for me. So actually writing out those goals is super helpful. And client work is my fuel. That's what fires my engine. That's what keeps me going. But now it's time I start to steer in an intentional direction. So I actually just started using a journal this year to track all of my goals and to write out all of my tasks for the week and stuff. It's a bullet journal inspired layout, super simple, super minimal. Once I actually start putting those pages to use, I would love to share more of how I track and all of my monthly goals, and then how I break those down into my daily tasks and stuff like that. So now that I actually have a game plan of how I'm going to achieve these goals, with writing them in the journal and breaking them up, it's time to actually make it happen. I have 3 big overall broad goals for the year. That is to increase my income, to grow my brand, and to stop overthinking. That's sort of my overarching theme for the year. So now I can take those big goals and break them down into actual actionable goals that'll help me achieve them. Starting with one of my first goals, I want to widen my net into the entertainment merch industry. So I mainly do stuff for the music industry. I would love to use my connections to make new connections to land opportunities to design merch for companies that handle licensings for companies like Disney, Pixar, Marvel. I think those would just be really cool projects to do. And to actually make that happen, I'm going to use my connections to make connections and basically do cold emails, just introducing myself. I'm gonna reach out to some companies and just let them know that I'm available, basically let them know that I exist, and that I'm here to make their life easier and that I can provide whatever designs that they're looking for. And then from there, hopefully that introduction email just turns into a project, and then which we can build a long-term client relationship with. My second goal is I would just love to design vinyl for someone. I'm putting this out there into the universe because it would be such a rad project for me to do. I obsess over the physical aspect of music, especially with vinyl. So I would love to help a band or an artist bring that to life for their music. My third goal, and it's a big one, it's to stop overthinking. I need to share more on Instagram, be more myself. I need to make more videos. I would be insane not to utilize these platforms for growth. To actually make that happen, again, it's going to start with consuming less content and creating more and being more myself. Taking those goals, breaking them down, and actually setting deadlines for myself. And this goes for personal stuff too, like exercising, eating well, those sort of things. Adding those into the routine of things are just going to help me succeed even more. My fourth goal is going to make more digital products. So these are things for my creative market shop, like mock-ups, texture packs, and I would love to try making a font this year. As a designer that uses fonts every single day, I know it makes a good font, the different glyphs and alternatives to them. So I would love to experiment with that and add it to my shop, because diversifying my income more with those kind of digital products will only help me achieve that overall goal of increasing my income. My fifth and final goal would be to finally launch my online shop, but also to share that process of making the merch with you. This one is super daunting, but I thought it would be really cool to kind of let this side project fuel making more videos, basically going through the entire process of making merch with you, getting your help to make the decisions and bring it to life together. So getting all of these goals and ideas out of my head, saying them out loud and getting them on the paper is super relieving. It's like a big weight off my shoulders, but it's all just still super overwhelming. But again, as long as I'm breaking up these goals and getting them out of my head and putting them onto paper and breaking them up, no matter how small, that's going to be progress. For example, a 5 to 10 minute task is going to be way more attainable than just simply saying I need to launch my online shop. So this video is me taking action and making the commitment. In my next video, I think I just want to chill a bit and go over some merch that I have designed. I have a small collection of designs that I have in this closet over there. I thought it would be cool to share the very first t-shirt I ever designed, and then share some of the more recent stuff that I have that is in retail stores like Hot Topic, and sharing the stories behind them and kind of the snowball effect of that first shirt into some of the more recent ones. Following that video, I would then love to share how I manage all of my client projects. And then finally, it would be cool to sort of kick off some series, maybe just a really chill Q&A where I answer answer whatever questions you have. Maybe the behind the design series, showing some real client projects, jumping into possibly doing that merch series, showing you the entire process on how I'm going to build my online shop from scratch. Let me know your thoughts on all of this, especially what ideas that you would be most interested in seeing here on the channel, because after all, this is a back and forth conversation. And I would actually love to also know what your goals are for this year and what you're actually going to do to make them happen. With that said, if you enjoyed anything in this video, and if any of those other ideas sound interesting to you and you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. It's just the little red button below the video. It's totally free, and I don't have a schedule for these videos. I am consistently inconsistent with them. So if you want to be notified when the next video comes out, you can click the notification bell. If that's your thing, if you like using notifications for YouTube, feel free to do that as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Seriously, I appreciate you. Now let's get back to work.